Now, Tony showed great social distancing this episode as he bunkered down even while on a deserted island. I'll have you know Yakadoo Yodels love peanut butter. Hello, welcome back everyone to the video series dedicated show on CBS that will do anything for a fire token or two. That's right, we're talking about Survivor Season 40 Winners at War Episode 6. And in this episode we had a double tribal council. Try to say that 10 times fast. And so let's just jump in where last episode left off, and that was Boston Rob being blindsided by his tribe and being sent to the Edge of Extinction. And we start off this episode with the Yara tribe and how they're dealing with their decision to vote out Boston Rob, and they couldn't be any happier, except for Adam, who isn't happy at all because he feels he's at the bottom of his tribe, and he's worried that if they go to tribal council next time, that he will be the next one voted out. Speaking of voted out, let's go over to the Edge of Extinction, where Tyson finds a log with a letter written on it saying that there is something on the island to be found in order for somebody to get a fire token. The main phrases on this letter is that you have to be at the right place at the right time, and you have to turn over stones. If you turn over more stones, you have more of an opportunity to find it. So everybody quickly goes to the stone phrasing and is flipping over every rock that they can. Some people are going up on the cliffs, and Tyson really has the phrasing of being at the right place at the right time, mainly because anything that's on time is the tide. It is perfectly correct. As he finds the note hidden on a log, he grabs it, he opens it up. It's an idle nullifier that he has to sell to somebody to receive one fire token, and he instantly sells it to Parvati, who instantly buys it. He gets the fire token, and instead of hoarding it like we've seen on Edge of Extinction, he decides to buy a big old jar of peanut butter. He says it'll lift his spirits, it'll give him more calories. If there is a redemption game, there has to be a redemption game soon, as there are a ton of people on this Edge of Extinction, and there's gonna be 2 more people joining them after this episode. We'll have to wait and see. But now let's go on to this week's immunity challenge, where these 3 tribes will go 4v4v4, jumping off of these platforms, going to a boat, untying big old rice bags, taking these rice bags and fitting them through this tiny hole. Then they have to drag these rice bags on top of the beach, stab them like they did them wrong in the Wild Wild West, gut them up, find a ball inside them, take these 3 balls and sink them in this maze. The first tribe to complete this will be the only tribe safe from tribal council this week and be getting peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with some chocolate chip cookies. The people sitting out of this immunity challenge is Sandra and Michelle for Sele and Decal. And right out of the gate, it's Sele and Yara neck and neck. They are close to one another this whole time in this immunity challenge. Decal is way behind. Now, Decal is behind in the swimming aspect, getting the rice bags, fitting them through the hole, getting them on the beach, cutting the bags, and I don't even know if they sunk a ball in their maze at all. They may have done one, but they didn't. It seemed that Kim and Jeremy were both having troubles throughout this immunity challenge, so they were way behind, and so it's really down to Yara and Sele. They are neck and neck heading into the maze, the last portion of this immunity challenge, and it's Sophie and Nick starting out. Nick sinks his ball first, Sophie gets her ball. Not too long after that, they have to switch players. Then it's Adam for Yara and Wendell for Sele, and Wendell was getting close to sinking his ball. He decided to showboat, he lost focus, dropped his ball in the maze. He had to restart his whole turn over. Adam sinks his ball, and Sophie is on their last ball. Wendell sinks his ball not too long after that. So then it's Nick and Sophie, and they are super, super close, and it gets all the way down to like the final second, and Sophie sinks the ball. She even foreshadowed that this was a peanut butter and jelly luxury item. Yara wins it. Adam is feeling ecstatic, and now we have to go to both the Sele and the Decal tribes and see how they're going to strategize going into their tribal councils. And so we're going to start off with the Sele, as they were the first one to tribal council, and both Michelle and Parvati are feeling down about themselves. They feel as though the Yule, Nick, and Wendell are locked solid with one another, so it's going to be either Michelle or Parvati out of this game, and Parvati thinks it's definitely going to be her because Boston Rob was just voted out at the Yara's tribal council. They have to try to find a crack to wiggle themselves into, and they both think that Nick is that crack. Nick already talked about how he likes Parvati, wants to play with her, so now they have to figure out a way to put some form of doubt in his mind. So they both go talk to Wendell. Michelle talks to Wendell first, he shuts her down. And then Parvati and Wendell are talking with one another, and Wendell kind of wants the fire tokens, wants to try to maybe get his cake and eat it too. He makes the mention that if she would give him a fire token or two, he would vote the way she wanted to vote, but she had to give him the fire tokens before going to tribal council. She knows that that's just like, you're just playing me at this point, but she decides to kind of like boast it up to Nick, saying like, oh, you can't really trust Wendell. So Nick is a little worried about that heading into tribal council. They even talk about it at tribal council, and there's a point where you can be genuine and honest, but sometimes being too genuine and too honest can be a bad thing. And I feel as though Wendell was kind of digging his grave a little bit, just for the sole fact that he said he would stab people in the front and the back. You could want to do that. It's a $2 million game. I feel as though everybody would stab people in the front and the back. However, saying it out loud is pretty nerve-wracking, especially when you have two people who are supposedly your best alliances in the game. And then he confirmed that he and Parvati talked about him having his vote up for sale, essentially, and even talking about it at tribal, saying that, oh, just give me the offer's still open, give me your fire tokens and I'll vote the way you want to vote. I feel as though what happened was Nick heard what Parvati was saying. He went to go talk to Yule. Yule was like, well, if Wendell is saying that, he is a risk later on in the game, but he's still a number to us, so we need to vote out one of the girls, and then we can vote him out the next time when we cross that pass. We still need to keep the numbers. He's still on our side. He's not a threat when we have this small tribe aspect right now. And I think that's what ultimately calmed Nick down from not voting out Wendell this episode. Spoiler alert, Wendell doesn't get voted out. It comes down to a 2-2 tie. It comes down to the third vote, and Parvati gets voted off. She is being sent off to the Edge of Extinction, and she gives her fire tokens to Michelle. Now let's move over to the Decal Tribe, and this is where the 3 Decal members are staying strong, even though Tony runs off to his bunker. I thought that was such a... It was funny, but it's also nerve-wracking because we've seen people leave to maybe go search for idols or be away from people for so long that it puts a target on their back. And I instantly thought that possibly Tony was going to have a target on his back because of this, but he comes out of the bunker, everybody's talking, it's either between Denise and Jeremy, and that's when Jeremy was at the right place at the right time, and they all decide that they're going to put all their votes into Denise's basket, that they're just going to not even have like a 1 vote go to Jeremy just in case of something happening. They just decided to put all the votes onto Denise. And that's when Sandra was thinking, do I really want Denise out? Or do I want Jeremy out? Because Jeremy and Tony seem like they're getting very, very close together. Maybe I want something big to happen. Also, she doesn't have any fire tokens. So now she wants fire tokens, and she knows Denise has 2. She has immunity. She doesn't feel like she needs the immunity because it's only good until the next tribal council. So she decides that she is going to sell her immunity idol to Denise for 2 fire tokens. Denise already has a hidden immunity idol, but if somebody's going to offer it to you, why not take it? So Denise makes the barter with Sandra, saying that she'll give her 1 fire token before tribal council and 1 after to make sure that it's real and authentic. Sandra says it is, but there's also another stipulation. You can't vote out me or Kim. You have to vote out one of the guys. Denise instantly says, yeah, give it to me. Well, I'll take it. Let's do this. And this is weird on Sandra's part because we've seen Sandra's, up to this point, she's just been at the point of like, hey, as long as it's not me. As long as it's not me, I'm good. Well, guess what? Your name wasn't even brought up. It was Denise or Jeremy. It seems weird that she's forking on her own strategy to now help out Denise when her whole strategy leading up to this point, and it was working out well for her, that, hey, as long as it's not me. Denise feels like she has all the power, and essentially she does. She has 2 hidden immunity idols, and she knows that all the votes are going to her, so she's gonna have the sole vote to vote out whoever she wants. And right now we think it's either Tony or Jeremy. Everybody votes after they talk about who's a threat and who's a not threat. So everybody votes. Jeff is about to read the votes, and that's when he asks for somebody that, if they have a hidden immunity idol, to bring it up right now. Denise brings up the hidden immunity idol that she got from Sandra up to Jeff. Jeff says, yes, this is real. And that's when Denise was like, well, just in case they voted, somebody voted for Jeremy, I'm going to use my own to give it to Jeremy. Jeremy is all smiles, but essentially she kind of wasted her own hidden immunity idol, as it was 4 votes to Denise. Nobody had a safety net whatsoever, leaving Denise as the only sole vote in this tribal council, and she decides to vote out not Tony, but Sandra. She takes a shot at the queen, and it is a critical hit, as now we have both Parvati and Sandra being sent to the Edge of Extinction. Oh my gosh! Let me tell you right now, I didn't see that coming whatsoever. I thought it was definitely going to be Tony after she played it for Jeremy, but it was such a good move. My gosh, if only one person is coming back from the Edge of Extinction, this was a great time to get out a 2-time winner. And it essentially could mean that we are not going to get a 3-time winner, but we have no idea what's going to happen with Redemption Island, Edge of Extinction. We don't know what's going to happen, how many players can come back. It's got to be happening soon, as there are so many players, and now there's so many big name players. What's going to happen? I have no idea, but what'd you think about this episode? Let me know that in the comment section below. What'd you think about all the dynamics? What'd you think about who won? Are you sad to see Parvati and Sandra leave? Let me know that in the comment section below. Were you hoping that somebody else was going to be evicted in this double tribal council? Let me know that in the comment section below. What do you think about Wendell being almost too honest? Let me know that. And when do you think we're going to have a redemption game? When do you think that these fire tokens are going to be really coming in hot? Let me know that too. And I'll be back really, really soon. Join me next week for another Survivor review and recap. And all week, I'm going to be coming out with more general content and a ton of challenge content, fantasy cast, brief histories, top 5s, top 10s, and much, much, much more leading into Total Madness coming out on April 1st. But again, I'm going to have so much content. But while you're down there, hit that like and subscribe button. And until then, peace.